gunboats for my aid. Give me a time.
Fishing in the moat? Oh, he's dead.
Niamh shook her head in disbelief as she surveyed the landscape before her. The Nilfgaardians had destroyed everything in their path. Burned farms, trampled fields, leveled orchards.
The bastards!
She hissed.
They mean to cause a famine.
When the Lyrians reached Braithwaite, a small village near Aldersburg, they saw gaunt men and women, more bone than flesh, gnawing on acorns and boot leather. The invaders had requisitioned every scrap of the village's food stores and hauled it off to their nearby camp. In strained voices, the villagers begged the Queen to help them retrieve their supplies.
Milady, Frost'll come before we know it. They'll help us. Why not a soul will live to see the thaw?
Niamh looked around at the blackened, scorched village, at the walking skeletons who dwelled in it. The suffocating smoke bellowing up from the fields sent tears streaming down her face.
I'll do what I can.
Was all she said. She knew this was not the time for a rousing speech. She needed to act.
Milady, have mercy. We'll waste away and starve. Milady, have mercy.
The Lyrians reached the outer defenses of the camp where the Nilfgaardians had taken Braithwaite's food stores. Rayla delivered her report.
3 heavy infantry regiments, Lyria arbalists,
The warrior said.
and I heard neighing, so they've cavalry as well.
Niamh said nothing, working it over in her head. The fate of the starving villagers weighed on her heart. She But was it worth risking heavy losses to aid them?
The Nilfgaardians keep food in storage and watch it rot while peasants perish from hunger. Will we allow this?
The Queen said, addressing her soldiers. Cried the soldiers.
I didn't think so.
Neve said with a smile as she drew her weapon.
Lyrians, attack! Today our swords shall taste imperial blood!
New orders? No?
We'll catch 'em all! Oh.
Must be an important lesson in this. But what?
The chase is on! Ha! This could hurt. Alba! Watch your heads!
Order will triumph! It must triumph!
For Demavend!
Zweifel!
Quick and painful this'll be.
Herzer.
Thing about slings, they hide well.
Your Grace, the battle's won. We've secured the storehouses.
Niamh managed to rout the Nilfgaardian troops and regain the stolen supplies. However, the Queen's good humor faded soon after the battle. Her soldiers began loudly demanding she not return to the village, but keep the food for her troops.
We've nigh empty bellies too, my lady. And whatever we give them, the black-clad bastards will just steal right back. Better to strengthen our own army than the enemy's.
Easy it would have been to take offense at the soldier's words, to accuse him of greed. But his words held much merit. Niamh's army had no less need for the food than the peasants, and in war-ravaged Edirn there were few chances to replenish their supplies. After a moment's hesitation, the Queen announced her decision.
We shall divide the food. Half we return to the peasants, half we keep for ourselves.
Mom, it's good you're here. We ought to speak.
Yes? Concerning what?
I've spent time with your troops, dressing their wounds, treating them. They respect you greatly, would follow you into any fire, any flood.
Happy to hear it. They're good folk, one and all.
Yes, precisely. In fact, too good to die in a senseless war.
Not certain I understand.
The Imperial Army's enormous. Just how enormous we know, both. Had you all the North's kings at your side, victory would still be unsure. Yet you fight alone. Know well you cannot rely on them.
Agreed. Nilfgaard's far better equipped and greatly outnumbers us. Yet, though try, they cannot be everywhere at once. They've stretched their forces thin, too thin. An error I aim to exploit.
You may be right. I hope you are. The lives of those you lead depend on it. You're proud, persistent, and sure of yourself. Just as I was at your age. It may work in your favor. Only time can tell. Meanwhile, how might I help?
You're no village witch, no healer. That much is clear. But nor do you look like our northern sorceresses.
I use no glamour, true. I've come to feel a body must age, and honestly so, as nature intended, as is the order of things.
You sound much like a druid drivelling on about balance, harmony, the good that is rot.
Rather poor, their reputation, druids. Yet they're in the right in this regard, I believe. Defy nature's laws, and nothing good can come of it.
Is that also why you wear no shoes?
Ha! No. I simply like to feel the grass between my toes, the sand, the mud. You must try it sometime.
I shall think on it. Thank you, Isbel. Duty calls. I must go.
Of course. Should you need me, I'll be here.
At first, the peasants were glad to see the soldiers. But their joy quickly turned to anger when they found Meve had decided to return only half the recovered supplies.
And for a queen to stoop so low! So low! Robbing good folk! Starving good folk! Ugh!
Meve refused to argue with the villagers. Yes, justice was on their side. But in times of war, justice counts for little. Meve's mount reared and flattened its ears, spooked for no visible cause. Trusting in animal instinct, Meve jumped to the ground and felt tremors under her boots. At first they were faint, barely palpable, then grew stronger and stronger.
What's going on?
Meve cried.
Why does the earth tremble?
Before anyone could respond, a scout from the forward guard let out a terrified cry. A moment later, snapped trees crashed down around them, and out of the woods came a 30-foot-tall stone giant.
Gods,
Whispered the queen.
what is that?
A golem,
Isabel whispered back.
favorite servant of Nilfgaardian mages.
As if to confirm his words, soldiers marched out from behind the giant, clad in heavy black plate. Their leader, however, wore but a light tunic, and his hands glowed with a strange blue light.
Githen Quan and Lyrian!
He shouted, giving the order to attack.
Gloire and Ard Feyin!
You mad? Don't shake that!
My powers are yours. Adart!
Mom, break the mage's spell, and the golem's power will wane to naught.
This could hurt.
The mage! Kill the mage!
bigger they are, easier they are to tug.
I'll fight to my last breath.
Wait, you're serious? Aye.
Your Grace, it worked!
Raising her shield against the whistling rain of arrows, Neve fought her way towards the Nilfgaardian mage leading the attack. At close quarters, magic arcana would stand no chance against a well-swung blade. Neve roared, delivering a powerful blow. Her blade severed the mage's aorta, and drowning in his own blood, he fell to the ground. He choked out by way of last words. Then the blue aura coming from his hands flickered out, and the stone giant thundered to the ground in pieces. When the dust of the battle had settled, the Queen ordered her men to search the Nilfgaardian camp. In the mage's tent, they found a rare instrument used to communicate at a distance, a megascope. The crystals encrusted in its brass frame were still warm, meaning it had recently been used to conduct a conversation. The burning question was, with whom?
Isbel!
Yelled the Queen. The mage dutifully came closer.
This device. Could you activate it?
Yes, Your Grace. But are you sure?
I am. Get to work.
Isbel nodded, then began calibrating the magic device. Finally, something clicked. A light flickered on, and before Meve's eyes appeared the outline of a Nilfgaardian general.
Speak common, please. I know not your tongue.
Oh, forgive me. I thought I spoke to someone else. Good to see you in good health, Queen. Or ex-Queen, I suppose, would be the more apt title.
Instead of fretting so much over my title, give yours.
Of course. Where are my manners? Duke Adel Ebdahi, Grand Chancellor, Commander of Army Group East. I believe you've heard of me.
No. This is the first time I hear the name Adel. Adel what?
I see you've a poor mind for names. Perhaps you should ask your son. He knows me very well.
You whoreson.
Oh, what was I thinking? You're not on good terms, are you? Such a sad story. But don't worry, it'll soon be over.
Is that a threat?
No. A simple prediction. Enough of this. Why use this megascope? What is it you want?
To tell you I shall never surrender. That I shall fight to my last breath.
Your breath shall cease, that is certain. Exactly when I wish it to.
What is that supposed to mean?
Farewell, Your Majesty. Or rather, till next time. For there will be a next time, I assure you.
A quiet fell over the tent. The Queen stepped outside, squinted her eyes against the glare of the burning fields, and swore to herself that when she did see Grand Chancellor Ardal ep Dahi again, he would be a whole head shorter.
All destroyed. As if nobody lifted a finger against the Nilfgaardians.
King surely ordered all his armies to return to Aldersburg. Took cover behind its walls.
I do not wish to dismay, but after what we saw at Rossburg...
Enough doomsaying, Gascon.
This artist will be reaping black-clad heads.
New orders? No?
Enough chit-chat. Draw your weapon.
Retreat!
A highly curious case. Egreto dum anime est, spes est.
You mad? Don't shake that!
Must be an important lesson in this. But what?
This could hurt.
My spirit's willing and all, but these damn boots are killing me. There's a time to reap, a time to sow, and a time to die.
Ha!
Yes? We'll catch 'em all!
Excellent Zweifel!
Thing about slings, they hide well.
My prescription, a bit of bloodletting.
Hey?
ever have a storm knock out one of your teeth? I've hit the white of an eye from half a league away.
Took but one damned week, and the army was shattered to bits and pieces.
Meave's Lyrians were traversing a wood when they heard the loud, drawn-out blast of a horn.
One of our scouts?
The Queen asked, clearly perplexed. She turned in her saddle to face Reynard, who shook his head.
Strange. Gascon, appoint a few of your strays. Ones who know how to blend in. Have them sniff out who blows that horn. And why.
The scouts returned a short while later with their report. Soldiers had pitched camp in a nearby meadow. They wore Edirnian uniforms, cut by sashes bearing a golden sun. They addressed their leader as Fulberson.
Know the name?
Rayla said.
Fulberson went over to the enemy first day of the war, took his whole division with him. Your Grace, a chance like this won't come again. Let's teach the traitors a lesson.
We must send a strong signal. One all the North will hear. From the Yaruga to the Dragon Mountains.
Announced the Queen.
Whoever collaborates with the invader shall pay with his head. Prepare to attack.
Rayla nodded, clearly pleased. The Lyrians surrounded the meadow marked by their scouts. Moments later, a flaming arrow pierced the sky, giving the signal to attack.
Is that Queen Meave? To arms! Ennard Fien!
I smell a leak.
101, 102, 103.
This man has suffered much.
You mad? Don't say that!
Tail cats out! This harvest will be reaping black-clad heads.
Hundred and 52, 154.
Yeah, yeah!
Scrubbing duty again? Oh, gods.
I saw them! No other way!
We'll catch 'em all!
To thee, ni gloire!
Mercy, your grace. We surrender.
The traitors, perhaps used to fighting unsuspecting foes, stood no chance against the determined Lyrian attack. At its conclusion, Meve personally knocked Fulberson off his mount, then tore off his visor. The face she saw evoked more sympathy than hatred. Fulberson was an old, sickly man, his skin pale and blemished. With great difficulty he pulled himself up on his knees, then extended a shaky hand in pleading.
Your Grace, have mercy. The Nilfgaardians forced me to treason. They threatened torture.
Meve felt her soldiers' eyes on her. They awaited her decision. How would she treat this traitor? Would she really execute him as a warning to others?
I hereby dissolve your division, Falberson. And you, surrender your sword and be on your way.
The traitor threw himself at the Queen's feet.
You've shown mercy befitting a truly great ruler, your grace. 1,000 thanks. To the south of here lie my lands. Visit me. I shall throw a sumptuous feast in your honor and provide a generous donation to your fight against our common foe.
Meve ordered Fulberson to stand. Her Lyrians reluctantly stepped out of the departing traitor's way. When he passed Black Rayla, she spat at his feet. Niamh and her Lyrians arrived at Fulberson's lands, home of the traitor she had let live. He greeted the queen with full honors. In ceremonial garb, a platter of bread and salt held aloft.
Your Grace, 'tis an honor to welcome you to my humble abode. Please, come inside. A fattened piglet already turns on the spit. Soon I shall fetch my best wines from the cellar.
Niamh, having lived on nothing but salt pork and gruel for weeks, was tempted to accept the offer. Black Rayla, however, was strongly against it.
Ma'am, forgive my insolence, but to eat from a traitor's table is foolish. Don't do it.
Heeding Rayla's plea, the queen declined Fulberson's invitation. Clearly saddened, he escorted the queen to the bounds of his estate.
I thank you once more, Your Grace.
He said, bending to kiss her hand.
And I swear from now on, I shall support the North as best I can.
Niamh nodded, then went on her way. She wondered whether the old man would keep his word, or, as soon as the Lyrians disappeared over the horizon, once again don an imperial crested sash.
'Tis a great pity Your Grace hasn't time to feast with us.
Coming across a small brook, Niamh ordered her soldiers to replenish their water supplies. When they returned, it was with empty water skins and troubled expressions.
Milady, the water tastes of blood. Not like black pudding, mind, but rancid, filthy.
Niamh had no choice but to march on. She gulped dryly and wondered how to interpret this strange event. An omen, perhaps? A warning from the gods? She soon learned the truth. Following the brook upstream, the Lyrians arrived at a small pool. Bobbing on its surface were dozens of corpses. A young woman caught Maeve's gaze, her long hair spread delicately atop the water, wide-open eyes reflecting the sky, a fine nose peppered with freckles, and a gaping wound slashed across her throat.
We shall stop here,
The Queen said calmly.
and give these souls a proper burial. Reynard, send scouts. Tell them they are not to return until they ascertain what has happened here.
When the scouts returned a while later, they brought with them a barefooted peasant they'd found hiding in the woods. They claimed he hailed from Horton, a nearby village, the village whose inhabitants had been murdered.
Them black-clad wretches stormed the village, milady. The devil Thronebreaker at the fore. Rounded us right up, took us down to the lake. Whole village, mind. Then chop, chop, and splosh, splosh. It was I alone gave him the slip.
Maeve listened to the man's tale, then placed him in the care of her medics and ordered the Lyrians to break camp. She rode at the head of their column, Reynard at her side, her knuckles gripped white on the reins.
Do we know where this Frigef is stationed?
Our riders report he's pitched camp to the east.
Then let's pay him a call.
They killed all. Like Rosberg. My lady, please. Make them pay.
Milka, Bezrad, Kristan, all killed. Souls snuffed out to the very last.
The Lyrians had no trouble finding Vrigev's camp. It was the size of a sprawling town. Maeve stopped her caravan and called for a council. The first to speak was Reynard.
Seems our scouts were both right and wrong, Your Grace. They did pinpoint General Frigef, the Butcher of Horton. Unfortunately, they underestimated his detachment. It is much larger and better armed than our own.
That changes nothing.
Maeve said, forestalling all protest.
If I leave him unpunished, without so much as an attempt, I shall never be able to face my reflection again. We must attack.
Reynard bowed and passed the order to the Lyrians. Later that same day, Maeve and Vrigev's forces stood face to face on the field of battle.
Frigeth! It's time you pay for your crimes!
Yeah!
You are dogs! There! Frigga! I see him! We've got to catch him!
This could hurt.
We'll catch 'em all!
Whoresons.
You'll never take me alive!
Watch your heads!
I'm a wrong set. One boat's all I need. Give me a target.
The Lyrians won the day, despite their foe's distinct advantage. Historians later ascribed Maeve's victory to her light troops' superior maneuverability in the difficult terrain compared to the plate-clad Nilfgaardians. But if you ask me, that wasn't it at all. A storm of fury had been quietly gathering in the Lyrians' hearts, a squall of rage stoked by the Nilfgaardians' unparalleled cruelty towards the conquered. And no one embodied this barbarism more perfectly than General Frigga. Maeve's men were ready to sacrifice anything to see him punished. They dragged the defeated general before Maeve. The Queen wished to learn why he'd ordered the execution of an entire village. How the Nilfgaardians could possibly justify such a crime.
2 weeks prior, I'd sent a detachment to Horton to procure feed. Captain Gaynor commanded it. While he was verifying their grain stores, they barricaded him in the barn and put it to flame.
The Queen listened to the general's story, her face a mask, betraying nothing.
Murdered. One man was murdered.
Frigga raised his eyes to Maeve's. The Queen was surprised to see them wet with tears.
Yes, my lady. My son.
The general's simple words bore pain, grief, and a thirst for revenge that would never be slaked. The Queen had to decide what to do with Frigga. No doubt the general had earned punishment, the harshest possible at that. Yet, such a weighty personage could fetch a hefty ransom, and Maeve's army desperately needed the gold.
My father taught me to respect the generals of my enemies. That even in captivity, their arms should not be taken from them. Their guards should greet them in salute.
The Queen said.
But you, Frigga, you are no general. Merely a cutthroat dressed as one. You shall die like the good folk of Horton. Quickly. Summarily.
Frigga received the Queen's decision with sang-froid. He neither struggled nor begged for mercy. He simply laid his head on the trunk. A short moment later, it rolled onto the ground to the Lyrians' deafening applause.
One gold I need. Give me a target. One gold's all I need. Give me a target. Abolist at your command. I'm a real sir. One gold I need. One gold's all I need. Give me a target. Abolist at your command. I'm a one, sir. One gold I need. Give me a target.
My ballista, your command. I'm a born sailor.
As Meve passed the city of Harmelan, one of the peasants she'd saved from Nilfgaardian captivity requested an audience.
Be taking leave of you here, my lady. Folk from our parts lives in Harmelan. We'll manage. But, my lady, we thank you for taking pity on us, time and again. We've nothing, my lady, or near's enough. Black-clad bastards took all's worth taking. Except in this amulet. Been in my family for ages, kept us from harm. May it do the same for you.
Meve wanted to say she did not believe in peasant superstitions, but when she took the ivory pendant in hand, she felt a curious warmth from it. The peasant bowed, then joined the others as they trod off towards Harmelan.
We're safe behind these walls. At least for now we are.
The Lyrians stood within 5 miles of Aldersburg, when the road, which until now they had travelled alone, suddenly filled with all manner of folk. Peasants, merchants, and wounded fighters in tattered uniforms. They trod solemnly in the opposite direction, their worldly possessions on their backs.
Aldersburg's fallen, my lady.
Sighed one of the refugees with a forlorn shrug.
Outer walls breached. King still defends the old town, but black-clad goats are winning. You best turn back before it's too late.
We've nowhere to turn to, good man.
The Queen said, then spurred on her horse.
Follow me!
The Queen galloped so fast the wind squeezed tears from her eyes, the Lyrian cavalry close at her heels. Hoofbeats thundered down the high road, and the crowd of refugees parted, making a path for the charging riders.
Faster! Faster!
Soon they set eye on Aldersburg. A red glow filled the horizon, the wind carried screams and the clanking of steel. The once proud city was quickly turning to dust in the Nilfgaardian sun. The Nilfgaardian force moved to block the Lyrians' way. Without slowing, Meve cut down the infantryman who tried to drag her from her saddle with a hook. A head in a winged helmet fell to the ground, leaving a bloody track.
Lyrians! Attack!
Neve shouted.
Take no prisoners! Bloody hell! You shan't stop me. Not now!
Enough chit-chat. Draw your weapon.
Give me a time. Abolition, your command.
Got sand aplenty in them.
Alba! Erigloir! Nilfgaardian!
Catch! I smell a leak.
Alba!
Not going into the fray already, are we?
Very gloire!
I'm a one, sir.
To me, ni gloire! Gloire en Kazer!
Of course I'll manage. I paid a full week.
Discipline. That is what you folk lack. Territoire.
My scars? No, they don't hurt.
So much anger and suffering. For what?
Bloody hell! You shan't stop me. Not now!
Should have listened to me old lady.
Watch your heads! Right. My boots got sand aplenty in them.
We'll catch 'em all!
Don't you worry yourself, your grace. We'll get her done in no time.
Very good.
I smell a leak.
Life had me flowed, now here I'm marching proud. Left, right, left. What now?
Her Majesty knows what she's doing.
I'm a one, sir.
Go on, Encader!
Pissing in the moat? Oh, you're dead.
Discipline, that is what you folk lack.
My pain serves a purpose.
Your Grace, all that was but their rear guard.
The Lyrians managed to scatter the Nilfgaardian battalion, one of many besieging Aldersburg. Their scouts brought before the Queen a prisoner freed from the invaders. Neve inquired about the situation in the city.
Turn the right slaughterhouse it has. The Imperials, King had the city cleared, my lady, but didn't budge himself. Holding out with his guard in Old Town, walls still standing there. Said he'd fight to the end. Come with me.
Neve weighed her options. The situation looked dire. Demavend, to whom she had come for help, needed help himself. Nilfgaard enjoyed an overwhelming advantage. The small Lyrian detachment stood no chance of breaking the siege. But to retreat, surrender. That was not something Meve did.
The Nilfgaardians do not expect a relief force. Rayla, you know Aldersburg. Can you lead us by side streets to the Old Town, that we may avoid the largest part of the Nilfgaardian army?
The warrior nodded, and without waiting for any further orders, strode out in front of the party. Reynard followed her with his gaze, clearly troubled.
And what then, your majesty? We burst into the lion's den and...
And we pray the lion chokes. Follow me!
The walls, crushed and breached. The lower town in flames. Hundreds, thousands more fled.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelled of elderberries!
Kingdom of England, fight to the end! He'll save the city, or die with it! You've twice shown us mercy, milady. Militile bless you twice over just the same. This pendant, your majesty. Wear it round your neck, always. It'll keep evil from you. A thief who takes half your coin is just as much a thief as one who takes it all. Remember these words well. This pendant, Your Majesty. Wear it round your neck, always. It'll keep evil from you.
A taxidermied unicorn. Strange. What are your orders, Your Grace? Shall we take it?
I've no notion what one could possibly do with such a thing. We ride on.
Neve arrived at the hut the villagers claimed to be the meeting point for the Scoia'tael and the Hawkers. Torchlight flickered amidst the trees, and she heard the sound of hushed voices.
Your Grace,
whispered Rayla.
They're in our grasp. We must act quickly if all the elves retreat into the woods.
Worry not, Rayla.
The Queen said, patting her on the back.
I shan't let a chance like this slip. Attack!
The Lyrians rushed out of the woods at the unsuspecting elves and merchants. Moments later, the sound of combat filled the dark wood.
Hawker scum!
Show me the coin or sod off. Got business for me?
None shall tread on us! Our ballista, your command. Armor won't say. Now we will see who is weak! Nefedvara! Catch!
The storm is coming. Let's enjoy the weather while we still can. We ought to help one or the other.
Lyria!
I smell a leak.
Oh my.
It's gonna be a right good levy, big and beautiful.
Let us sing the song of steel!
Death to Old One!
One gold's all I need.
There's but one penalty for trading with elves.
Niamh pulled off a rare trick. She laid a trap for the Scoia'tael in their own woods. The surrounded elves fought to the bitter end, choosing death over human captivity. Niamh cracked open the hawkers' chests and stared at a mass of tangled oakum. Perplexed, she dug deeper and found the real goods hidden underneath. Bolts with entrail-pureeing hooks, leg-snapping bear traps, and incurable poisons.
Instruments of cruelty,
said Reynard, looking over the chest's contents.
Designed to deliver maximum pain and a prolonged death.
Gascon did not share in the general gloom. He reached for one of the arrows and balanced it in his hand with curiosity.
A corpse is a corpse. It cares not how it became one. And these marvels... Oh, my lads could do fine things with them.
My crown I have lost, but my honor remains.
Niamh said, grabbing the arrow from Gascon.
I will not allow soldiers under my command to fight with this. Reynard, have these chests thrown in the lake.
In sinking the Hawker's weapons, Niamh sent a clear signal that her honor would not tarnish even at the darkest hour. News of the massacre echoed through all of Aedirn, cooling the desire of anyone tempted to profit by selling death to elven terrorists.
Huntsman's away from hearth and home. Watch out for the acromantula. Mighty fine pumpkin harvest this year. Mighty fine pumpkin harvest this year.
Could have run for help, I know. But I was afeard. Afeard the black lads would catch wind of me, hear me. What now? Whatever will I do? Alone? Left all alone. Milady, buried our valuables before the Blackclads came. In the wood, near a big boulder. Got a bit of charcoal? I can sketch the way for you.
Gods have mercy. And demons take it all!
Taking advantage of the confusion, Meve maneuvered her troops to the very walls of the old town. Spying Lyrian banners, the defenders suspected a trap. But when they noticed Black Railer among them, they immediately lowered the drawbridge. The old town was a maze of brothels and shady taverns. In normal times, students and other pleasure seekers prowled its dark alleys. Now, tired soldiers slumped in every corner, though the Lyrians' arrival clearly buoyed their spirits. The Fraternal Realm's warriors clasped each other's hands and swapped tales. Even Eden's king, Demethen, made no secret of his pleasure at seeing these unexpected arrivals.
Me! Of all the besieged cities in all the world, you walk into mine. Come to the rescue, have you?
To be quite frank, I've come to be rescued.
Oh, yes. I've heard much of the events in Lyria. Disgraceful! Such betrayal! However, as you might have noticed, things are none too rosy here either.
Yes, that is hard to miss.
I thought we'd trade blows with the Blackclads. That it would be an even match. 2 weeks. That sufficed to annihilate the army I'd spent my whole lifetime building.
Your Majesty, I cannot say what fate will bring, if we shall reach this war's end alive. But I wish to say now that I admire you.
Oh?
You evacuated the city, yet refused to evacuate yourself. You fight to the bitter end, like a hero.
But of course, a king must lead by example after all. Especially in war.
Reynard, that rumbling, you hear it? Studded boots on cobblestones. The Nilfgaardians. Prepare the men for battle.
Yes, Your Grace.
So, now that we're alone, what's really going on?
What? Did you not hear? I'm defending my capital, like a hero.
Demavend, please, don't feed me that drivel. We've known each other far too long. Why did you stay?
Meve. As meddling as you are beautiful. See that building? That one there.
The... brothel? The Crimson Bodice?
Precisely. So, promise not to laugh. I'm a patron. A loyal one, in fact. One of the girls there, Demeretta. She's marvelous. Makes me feel young again.
A young fool, you mean? Demavend, there's a war on, and...
Allow me to finish. Demeretta became, well, with child. Exactly 9 months ago. Understand now?
She's entered confinement. Having contractions.
Since yesterday. You see, I cannot leave her like this. Can't have her moved. I must stay put until she gives birth.
And then what? Pray tell. Invite all of Nilfgaard to the christening?
No, my dear. There is a hidden tunnel deep beneath the city, leading far beyond its walls. Once the midwives cut the cord, we flee.
Demavend, you risked the lives of thousands of men for a single child. For a bastard to boot.
Meve, I would kill thousands of men for my child. Born in wedlock or out. It changes nothing.
It changes everything. One way the babe inherits the throne, the other...
You argue succession while I speak of a father's love. But I shouldn't expect you to understand. Your heart, ice through and through, always has been. No wonder, villain.
Your Majesties, the Nilfgaardians are attacking.
Meve, we must hold out. A few hours, that's all.
I'll do what I can. Defend the king! We must stop them!
Die!
Catch!
I warned you!
Give me a time.
I want their hate! Anvalnen order!
I smell a leak.
Neve! They're getting close! Devils take all, help me!
Inarin Yarde Crowfair.
Neve! We must hold on a bit longer!
It's gonna be a right good levy, big and beautiful.
Defend the king! We must stop them!
Die!
One boat.
Die!
Inarim Yalde Crowfair.
I want their hate! Anvalnen order! Meve! They're getting close! Devils take all, help me! Ah!
Defend the king! We must stop them!
Yeah!
I warned you. We'll catch 'em all!
Inarim Yalde Crowfair.
Die! I want their hate! Anvalnen order! They're getting close! Devils take all, help me!
Defend the king! We must stop them!
Aye!
Barbarians.
Give me a time.
I want their heads! Anvalnen order!
Abolister, your command.
I warned you.
This could hurt.
Meve! We must hold on a bit longer!
The chase is on! Watch your heads!
To thee, Nilfgaard! Now retreat to the tunnel!
With their forces combined, the rulers managed to hold the old town long enough for Demereta to bear the king's offspring, a healthy, hardy boy. When the midwife slapped the infant, his scream carried above the roar of battle. Soon afterwards, the defenders abandoned the walls and left the city through a secret tunnel. The Nilfgaardians, furious that not one but two northern sovereigns were among the escapees, razed Aldersburg to the ground.
Thank you. If not for you, the devils would have devoured us.
I should say it was nothing. But the truth is, I need your aid.
Aid? But you see, my army is no more. I must pull back, regroup.
Pull back? Where to? The golden sun flies over your entire realm.
To Redania, to take shelter at the court there.
And then? Will you sit and watch the fool juggle apples as Nilfgaard parcels all Edirn out to its settlers?
Meve, one must know when to fold and when to double down. Nilfgaard has stretched the front. Winter will soon be here. Let the costs claw away at them. A year, two, then we strike. And we shall prove the Empire is a colossus with feet of clay.
Fine. Do as you see fit.
And you?
I can't live like that.
So what shall you do instead?
Fight on. Until I win. Or the black-clad curs tear me apart.
Gods, such pity I have for your husband. The poor man must have had a rough go of it.
He seemed content with his life while it lasted. Yet I'm serious, Demavend, in my request. You truly won't aid me. Provide nothing at all.
I will tell my men whoever so wishes can join your party and fight on. But please, curb your excitement. They are tired. Few will choose the path of greater resistance. But, are you familiar with the saying, when at wit's end, a dwarf's your friend?
Yes, it and many others. Yet as much as I appreciate folk wisdom, I prefer facts to philosophy at the moment. Preferably facts relevant to my situation.
How about this? Mahakam is but a week's ride from here. And there you'll find thousands of dwarves armed to the teeth. Enough to turn the tides of this war, I venture.
Yes, they could. If not for another fact. That the dwarves have always been famously indifferent to strife between humans. They'll never come to my aid. I doubt they'll even let me into their land.
Unless you show them this. The leaden ring. A token of amity given to me by the Elder-in-Chief. That's not to say they'll welcome you with open arms. But they will hear you out. And that is something.
Dwarven infantry I'd make good use of. I shall do as you say. Or at least try.
Good. And to ease your journey somewhat, I'll give you as your guide the best man, or rather woman, for the task. Rayla!
Yes, Your Grace?
You've been to Mahakam with me many times. You know their paths. Take Queen Meve and her party there.
'Twould be an honor, Your Majesty.
I'll send messengers ahead that the dwarfs may expect your arrival. Until then, good luck, Meve. And may we one day waltz upon the grave of our foe, Emperor Emir.
May it be so. Just as long as I get to lead.
Ah, of course. Farewell, Queen.
Meve left Aldersburg in ill spirits. Rather than provide the help she had hoped for, Demavend had merely sent her on to Mahakam. Her way west was lit first by the glow of a burning city, then by the smouldering remains of charred villages by the roadside. It was clear the war against Nilfgaard had taken a bitter turn. Each stranger was now treated as an enemy, and the customarily hospitable Aedirnians slammed their doors at anyone's approach. The party's morale was somber as well, and did not even improve with the first sight of mountains looming in the distance. Wandering among the ashes, Meve entered the dwarves' domain.